Yes, we are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this month's LinkedIn Live edition. And again, I have a very special guest today, Deepa Mahesh, and I have been following her on LinkedIn for a year now, and I have always looked up to her, and I have always felt that there's so much to learn from her, and I am a fan of all the techniques that you have shared, uh, like all those little videos where you would share about all those little techniques to come to connect to the body, and there were so many, and I want to uh, personally I want to take at least one technique and remember it and use it again and again and again. And coming to that, I don't have like a lot of words to introduce herself, like all like how usually it is done. But that introduction part I think will be done by the way all the things that she will be sharing with all the experience that she has had and all the work that she has done. It will be more reflected in her energy, in her words, in her intentions. So welcome, Deepa.
Thank you very much. And I really would like to applaud your calm presence. That's so awesome for me to witness.
Thank you so much. So I would like to start with. Also, would you like to share something about yourself that you want the audience to know in your own
Yeah,
words?
I mean, so basically, I'm a life and a leadership coach. There are many titles and roles that I play personally and officially, but there's one tag that I always call myself as, and like I'm a lifelong seeker. And
Hmm.
I think I think I was born to seek, and from that seeking to give people, and I think I will continue. And the imagination is that I will die giving. Whatever I have sought till now and I've assimilated, I will. That's how I will retire from this life, this birth.
Wow, that is so amazing and so deeply resonating with how I go about my life. Yeah, so it's wonderful to have this conversation. First, I would just want to be grateful to have this opportunity and thank you again. And okay, so my first question is like, as our topic is that how we can connect more with the body. And today, I think one of the uh, most significant, the biggest problem is that almost everyone out there is just overthinking. And a lot of people want to know that how to, let go of that overthinking. And I know that one of the most there are a lot of ways, and one of the most important thing is to bring your mind in your body. But the importance of it and how to do it is not talked enough.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, and even in my personal journey, like I had to go through a lot of pain just because I did not know how to connect with my body.
yeah.
So, like, what do you want to say on that, and how can people easily connect it with their body, and what is the importance of it?
Yeah, sure. So I hear two things. One is you said, how do I connect to the body, and how do we work of connecting as an antidote to overthinking.
Hmm.
I think they really connect very deeply. So, as I hear your question, two thoughts came to me, and maybe I will look at it from both routes. So, the first thing is, I'm working with a lot of leaders, entrepreneurs, and established professionals, and one thing I see is that they are paid to think. They are paid to think of strategies, think of techniques, think of plans, think of tactics, and that's what gets them their bucks.
Hmm.
And that's what gets them their awards and accolades. And they feel like something when they go back home. Their family can flaunt them, say, "I'm so and so's wife, so and so's daughter, son, etc." So you see, the system has made people uh, be rewarded to think, and if you see, thinking revolves around this zone of our body. If you really look at the body also, there are three zones. One is the upper part, the middle system, and then the lower part. So I would say lower part is from the gut down. or the stomach down. The middle part is the heart part, which is the heart and the lungs, which is a rhythmical system, which helps us to be in rhythm. And the upper part is the head part. So we are in the head part, and because we are rewarded, we better overthink. Because if I don't overthink,
Hmm.
tomorrow will I get that award? Will I not get the award? I do not know. So you see, there's so much insecurity. There is so much insecurity. If I don't overthink, if I don't have the strategy, if I'm not thinking before my boss tells me this, then I'm not good enough.
Hmm.
And then that imposter kicks and all of that. And it's all a creation of the mind. It's the beautiful mind. Before it actually happens, I've created a story.
Hmm.
That story has become so multiplied in my head that I do not really have that clarity, that viveka, to distinguish what's real and what's not.
Hmm.
Yeah. And when I'm saying this, I am also guilty with
Hmm.
this exactly. I have done it. Even now, if I don't bring my awareness, I lose it.
Yeah.
And I know the direct impact of it in my body.
Hmm.
It affects one or the other organs, and it affects the organ which is most vulnerable. Like for me, it's my feet, my
Hmm.
stomach, and my throat.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I think, and how do you recognize that? You have to see it as a pattern. When I fall ill or chronically, like from my childhood, which body part has been affected when I've been ill? No, one of us will have one or the other part.
Yeah, for me, it's my back.
It's your back, exactly. Yeah. So that's the most vulnerable zone.
Hmm.
And when you're overthinking and when you're emotionally, over emoting, anything in over, or you're overdoing, the tiredness, the fatigue, or the overthinking will hit the most vulnerable part.
Hmm.
That vulnerable part will start calling you out for your attention because it's weakening. It's already weak and it's weakening, and then we have to pay attention. If you don't pay attention, then it takes its toll, and then you land into an illness.
Hmm.
And then, of course, you go to the doctor, and the other way is to really have a dialogue with that body, which last year, whole year, I used to offer dialogue with the body sessions. And you dialogue with that body part, and the body part is telling you something. It's crying out to tell you something.
Hmm.
Listen to it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is one perspective. The other perspective is a perspective of trauma. And I hold a space for a lot of, I wouldn't, I say women and men because men are not aware. Women pick that term and say, I think I have trauma.
Hmm.
So, and I've gone through this, I have suffered from it. And recovery has taken me over a decade to overcome the trauma. And even now, there are remains of it, which comes as triggers. But
Hmm.
just that I'm very aware of it now, and I'm working with individuals who have gone through it. And one of my favorite, I mean, two of my favorite is Dr. Gabor
And mine
Mate
also.
and Bessel Van der. Yeah, I love Dr. Bessel van der Kolk also. These are the two people I just love. I follow their work. I mean, the third one is Peter Levin, but these two are really my favorites.
Who's the
And
second one? I was not able to clearly, sorry.
Dr. Bessel van der Kolk.
Okay, doctor. Okay.
Yeah, a fantastic human being. And the way he explains trauma, beautiful. He's authored this book, The Body Keeps Its Score.
Oh, that's why him.
Yeah,
I
he's
heard
the
of
one,
it so much.
yes. Oh my God, masterpiece, masterpiece. And I've not finished the whole book because I just read it in parts and then look at my life, and that's the way to work on the inner. It's beautiful.
Hmm.
And the third is Peter Levin. And Peter Levin, he talks about small tips to work on, when the trauma gets kicked. So what happens in trauma is, if you have had physical abusive, or even psychophysical, or um, emotionally deprived, any kind of trauma actually in your childhood growing up, then the way to manage that is to disassociate from the body.
Hmm.
So, a lot of us are disassociated from the body because associating with it brings the pain which has not been processed.
Yeah, which is
And
very
doing that
also very
work is a hard work.
yeah, which is very uncomfortable.
which is very uncomfortable, and you just need a very trusted person to really journey with and open that with a lot of care and safety and the feeling it's okay, that kind of a thing, because they are not able to say it for themselves. So somebody needs to help them to say that for them, with them, and be by them, by their side. So that's another reason why people are not able to connect with the body. It's hard. So with clients like these, the first step is to connect with your body with the emotion of security. Like
Hmm.
I am secure. So simple exercises that of just taking our palms to this heart center,
Hmm.
and or even taptapana, just this way, or even taptapana, any part, even this, basically palming, taking your palms to your body, because when you disassociate, the association of the palm to the body is not available for you.
Hmm.
It's breached. It is not available. So as simple as this is a technique.
Hmm.
And just tapana, because it just tells you, okay, I'm secure, I'm safe, even this, I'm safe. Just like that. Yeah, exactly. And then if you want to affirm, but the affirmation is not needed, because I know of some people who say, "Jhoot hai. I
Hmm.
don't believe it. I'm
Hmm.
not safe."
Hmm.
And then we don't want to create one more emotional trauma there.
Hmm.
So these are the two reasons why there could be disassociation. And then when there's trauma, there is the clear thinking gets impacted, because there are two entities that are playing inside. There is the inner child.
Hmm.
There are the child cells. There are many child cells we have, and then
Hmm.
there is the adult. So I
Hmm.
may be a 56. I may be a 46 or a 56-year-old adult with the awareness of the current moment. But when a triggering event happened, I can regress to being a 12-year-old.
Yes. Yes.
And the 12-year-old has no rationale,
Yes.
does not understand the present moment. They have regressed. And then, volcano erupts and a lot of things happen. So at that moment, to be aware, it's hard. So you have to, that's the work, that's the deep work that one does, with a coach or with a therapist or with whoever they feel that they need to journey with. And that's pretty, how it is, it's all about energy. For me, everything is energy. Trauma is energy, emotion is energy, a thought is energy,
Hmm.
what the body sensation is energy, everything is energy.
Hmm.
So if the energy is not locked up in the trauma and not locked up in the regressive trigger,
Hmm.
then that same energy is available for me to do my current work, relate to my current people,
Hmm.
be happy, or make choices of what new I need to cook or eat, or where do I need to roam around. So making those choices.
Yeah. So basically, the energy that is being used for
Yes.
survival now can be used to thrive in life.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the same energy.
Hmm.
And that understanding, that energy, whatever energy is locked up, what locks it up most of the time, and I love to study this principle from the ancient Indian wisdom, the scriptures, and Panchakoshas is a real frame that I used. So what it says, that the body and the breath, body is still visible, the breath energy is still it's subtler, but it's still, you can feel it kind of. And the next two, which is emotions and thoughts, very difficult.
Hmm.
You can't see it. So if there is a physical cut, there is a body, there's a blood coming out, and then you can put a band-aid or something. But if there's an emotional hurt, there's no bleeding. But there's energy drained there, because then you're overthinking, you're overfeeling, you're feeling sad, this, that, and the other. And then it's all a spiral. And energy is lost. It's consumed.
Yeah.
Like, rightly so.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very much evident who is going through that and the past, because I've gone through that, how much energy is being lost
Yes.
to that hurt or whatever that experience is.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all about using the same energy. But if someone who is experiencing that hurt, and because of the system that we have live in, the all the conditioning, it's, I don't think there's any single person who has not undergone any kind of trauma. Everyone has gone through something. So what I can think of right now is, I was just thinking of one of my clients, and that person was telling me that, I asked that person to read some book, and in that book it was written about the importance of forgiveness.
Okay.
And that person was telling me that how, how easily this person has said that, forgive कर दो, और ऐसे ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है, and something like that. And the
Exactly.
irony of it is that just in the second paragraph it was written that it will depend on, like, when you read this, like, what is your resistance to it, what is your resistance to forgiveness, what is your resistance to letting go of the things.
Yeah.
So if someone is like going through that kind of experience where they are losing a lot of energy to all the traumatic experiences that they are having, and they are also, the people are like triggering them again and again and again, so what can be their first step, and how can they get out of it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a brilliant question. So there's a model that's coming to me right now as you were telling me, and that's one of my favorites. I apply it every in every aspect to figure out what's happening.
Hmm.
And this is by Dr. Peter Singh.
Hmm.
So he talks about it's called the model of creative tension. On
Hmm.
one hand is my vision. I'm in the middle. Okay, I'm in the middle, and there's one rubber band around me, which is pulling me towards the vision. Let's say the right side, and another rubber band around me which is pulling me towards the left side, which is the my powerlessness, my helplessness, my self-doubt, my anger, my resistance, etc. Now I'm looking at the vision. I want to be well, or I want success, or I want my vision in certain way. I'm looking at it.
Hmm.
But if my forces of pulling back is stronger, the
Hmm.
intensity, if it is more, I'm going to be pulled by that. I will not be able to have my feet on the ground. I
Hmm.
will be pulled there, and my vision will also come back.
Hmm. Yeah.
So the question is, where am I looking? And if I'm looking there, are my actions aligned with where I'm looking? Or am I looking at the vision, but I'm not even aware of what's pulling me back? And so do I need to pause and maybe look at that and see, hey, I mean, have the dialogue with them and see what's pulling me back. Is it my past emotions? Is
Hmm.
it my hut, my zid that I am not going to forgive, come
Hmm.
what may?
Hmm.
Okay, so if it is your zid, then either we invite them to look at, what's making them so strong a resistance,
Hmm.
or they have to see that that is going to pull them back, and the vision of forgiveness or living happy or whatever is going to come back. It's not going to be achieved. So making peace with that. Because anything you give attention to or give energy to, there is a consequence.
Yes, yes, yes. So wonderfully explained. I was just also wondering about, like, thinking about one thing, that, like, when it comes to forgiveness, like, a lot of times when people know that they have to forgive, immediately I think they try to forgive the person who has hurt them the most. And like, forgiveness is also like a skill, and the more you practice it, the better you get at it. So is it about, like, you go step by step and develop that skill, and if you are not feeling that you have to immediately forgive someone who has hurt you so much, and go step by step, or how can we go about it?
Yeah. I can share my process, what I have used, because uh, I have tried to say, I forgive this person. I have
Hmm.
tried to say that. And when I used to see a therapist, I know of sessions where I've cried and whined and saying, but I've said this, then why is it that again, when I see the person or think of the person, I get angry, I'm furious, I feel like giving them one slap on their face,
Hmm.
or maybe I can just kill the person. So what happens is forgiveness, there is a energy of hurt, And if that energy of hurt is not listened to, then the forgiveness is at the tip of the iceberg. You know, it's upper.
Hmm.
The root is not addressed.
Hmm.
So, how I have worked on is I have used the process of journaling to do it.
Hmm.
So I've recalled situations where, the person has done whatever they have done. I've looked at, okay, what's their point of view, or why they did what they did, and what has been me. And when I've done this, I realized that when I'm forgiving, I'm looking at, okay, I forgive you, but I have not acknowledged what I have gone through in that process. So I cannot forgive, because
Hmm.
who is going to listen to what I went through?
Hmm.
But only when I acknowledged what I went through, and because of that person, this is what I went through. My 8 year self was compromised, or my 12-year self was compromised. And this is what happened to me. I grew up early. Whatever was when I acknowledged it, that child felt acknowledged. The adult was acknowledging the child. Yeah, and in that process, something released. The anger released, the hatred released, the intensity released. I had to do it multiple times, and I have not done it in my mind, because in my mind I get all confused and lost. It's like this thread which is all intertwined.
Hmm.
I have used
Hmm.
either art, because I'm an art therapist, so I use art a lot to study my inner mind, including my body. So I've used art, I've used art journaling, I've used words journaling, and I've looked at, okay, what is their side and what's my side, and then I have given more attention to my side. The more and more and more I've given attention to my side, I've been able to forgive better. So it has been step by step process, and not one shot. One shot has not worked for me. And then I think over a period of time, as I matured, and I did my own spiritual sadhana, what I understood is that even the forgiveness or non-forgiveness or holding on to something is huge energy locked up, and it's like that other side which pulls me from my vision.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, if I have to let go, probably this is something I have to let go, not let go for them.
Hmm.
Because I always used to think that that person is sleeping comfortably. They don't even know I'm harboring anger and hatred.
Hmm.
वो तो सो रहा है.
Hmm.
Hatred तो मेरे अंदर है. Or
Hmm.
irritation is in me. So I used to get angry about that also.
Yeah, like I, and it feels like that I am the person who is weak here.
Impacted. Yeah.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
the person who is impacted.
Yes, exactly. So I had to make peace with that. So it's not about them. I had to make peace inside. And then when other person comes, not comes, does or doesn't do, I don't care.
Hmm.
I'm genuinely, at peace. I don't have to do anything, because I think over a period of time that this forgiveness has happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are PhDs who people have done in forgiveness, and I
Hmm.
have not looked at those formats yet, because I am more an experiential person than really a format person or a structure person.
Hmm.
But this has worked for me, and this has brought more peace, Ashutosh. And when I have more peace, I can pursue what I want. I can pursue my intentions. I can really pursue the purpose of my birth, because that's what is most important for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you so much for sharing about how you go about forgiveness. It was so insightful for me as well. Like how I would approach and how would I would talk about it with my clients. And yeah, like it's in a way it's a step-by-step process. I think the most important thing is not the process, it's the intention that you are willing to work on it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
then
you're willing to work on it for yourself.
for yourself. Yeah, and that's so beautiful. Although I think this conversation was never about forgiveness, but I'm so glad that we touched upon that. And you will not realize that it's been an half an hour,
Yeah.
around half an hour since
I
since
saw
we
that.
since we started this conversation. And yeah, so I we the second topic that we had, and you were also talking about that everything is just energy. And there was the I think that the had it the subtopic was that how to see your energy is money. That's what you were sharing, and I am very curious to know more about it. Like, oh,
Yeah,
what you have to
yeah,
share.
correct. So that's just a perspective, like what we were speaking about body and we talk about energy and the hurt. So um, when I was, I think when I talk, when somebody asks me a question and I'm responding to it, I ask them that you, especially boundaries, So people say yes when they want to say no, and when they say yes, they are saying no to yes to the other. They are saying no to themselves.
Mm.
And then in that saying yes, they have to go through a grind. They have to let go something of themselves to fulfill that yes that they're committed to, because they want to live up to the commitment.
Mm.
Now, in that process, they are exploiting themselves really, literally. They are abusing themselves because they
Mm.
are not wanting to do it, man maar ke they are doing it. And then they are sulking ki why the hell am I in this position?
Mm.
It's a huge loss of energy. So I ask them that if your energy was money, okay, and if you're leaking your energy like that, would you leak your money like this?
Mm.
And obviously, that comes the answer no.
No.
Who will leak energy? Who will let go your money? Who will leak your money?
Yeah.
You will not do that. So
Mm.
why isn't energy looked at as money?
Mm.
To conserve it, to save it, because the metaphor that comes to me is a pot, an earthen pot, which is filled with water.
Mm.
And energy drain means, or energy, saying yes and not saying no to that person means like you're digging a hole in that.
Mm.
Okay. And then you're saying that, okay, why is it that I'm not able to have the full pot? They are not aware that there is a hole in the pot. And then one more, yes, they say when they have to say no, there is one more hole in the pot. So the water is leaking. And then they said, oh, I need to pour some more energy. So let me go to this place. Let me go for a spa. Let me go to a retreat, or let me go to Jindal for some wellness treatment, etc. Oh, I have filled. But they
Mm.
have not plugged the hole there. It is leaking. They're still going to come and say the same behavior. So there's the above the iceberg. But what happens to the below? What happens to my thoughts, my emotional patterns, my behavioral patterns? The patterns,
Mm.
the energy leaking patterns are not plugged.
Mm.
That leaks the energy. So it's really about, am I looking at my energy as money? Am I looking at the leak? Am I willing to take efforts to plug? And honestly speaking, our eyes are outside. We can see others, but we don't see ourselves. We
Mm.
need somebody to really mirror that to us, which is why working with any professional, okay, has really helped. At least it has helped me. Like I was telling you, Ashutosh, I've always worked with somebody,
Mm.
for several years now. And I feel like it is very essential for me. I'm not addicted to it.
Mm.
It is so important for me because I need that other person. And people have changed. It's not
Mm.
that I've worked with the same person. I mean, yes, with my therapist, I worked for 9 years and then coach, and I've had different coaches in my life.
Mm.
Currently, also, I have somebody. But the point is that uh, they are able to mirror, and then are you able to look at, okay, how can I plug the leak?
Yeah,
Because it's
I
so important for me.
yeah, and it's so important that you've shared that because in today's world, so much information is available out there,
Maybe,
and
yes.
how you
Yeah.
can go about all those things. Still, like
Yes.
it's very much evident that that information is not really helping people.
Yeah.
That it's not
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
effective. Of course, there's like it's making them aware that there's something wrong with them, or there's a lot to work,
Yeah.
but just they working on themselves using that information does not lead to that level of self-awareness where they
Yes.
start to solve their problems.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And seriously, working with somebody uh, enables you to catch hold of the pattern. You
Mm.
still have to do the work. Nobody is going to do the work for you. You still have to do the work. But that pattern, you understand the pattern so beautifully that then you can never not know it because it's come to your awareness. You have
Mm.
become conscious of it. You can never go back to the old self. Then it's your choice what you want to do or not do. And if you commit to somebody, I'm going to do it, you will at least take some effort to do it. That's how the pattern gets reversed, and that's how the hole gets plugged,
Mm.
and then you can work with filling the pot. And I think it's a lifelong process. One thing you plug, another leak will show up,
Yeah.
because that's how we are. I mean, human beings, our patterns keep revealing itself, and that's why we always will need somebody to work with, to partner with, actually. And especially as a, before being a coach, I was a therapist, and before that I was an HR professional. So I have had three roles, three avatars, actually, so to say. And in as an HR professional, we had mentors at work. As a therapist, it was mandatory to have a supervisor to supervise my professional work, and then a therapist, so that my stuff doesn't leak into my session. So
Hmm.
I'm not processing mine along with my clients. And as a coach, it's very important to have a mentor and a coach. And the coach doesn't need to be, always this one or that one. At times you need a business coach, at times you need a spiritual coach, a life coach, or a leadership coach. Depends on what is your need.
Yeah.
And that leads you to your path, to clearing your energies, and to really revering. So I think it's about reverence to yourself. Because we are so beautiful, the way we have been born, and we can play multiple roles. And working with coaches has helped me not just in coaching, it has helped me in my life. It has also made me see that, oh, I'm here and this is where I struggle even now. Even that is good enough awareness. It's not that I've overcome all patterns.
Hmm.
I know I have.
Yeah.
But oh, okay, at least I know, okay, I know how screwed up I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking about that, like you talked about that, how it's a lifelong process. It reminded me of that, when I was watching this podcast and the speaker was Dr. Gabor Mate, and he was talking about that what would you want to write on your tombstone? And
Yeah, 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 I remember
then he
that.
says that it was more work than I ever expected.
Correct. That
Yeah.
is true. That is true. In fact, yes, there are times when I say, I have worked for so many years on myself, and again this has surfaced. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. How do you go about that? Because that happens a lot, that when something is happening repeatedly
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
know that you have done so much work, and then
yeah,
you're again questioning it,
yeah.
why, how and why is this happening again?
Correct, correct. Absolutely. So there are two strategies here. First thing is to tell myself that I am not in the same place that I was when I
Hmm.
last met this pattern.
Hmm.
Okay, and that is for sure.
Hmm.
That and that has dawned upon me right now after so many years of inner work. And the second thing is that intensify your inner work.
Hmm.
That's the second step, intensified. So reach out to two people, three people, four people. Let's work on it. So it's then a multi-pronged approach. It's not just one approach.
Hmm.
Maybe spiritual work, maybe coaching, maybe therapy, maybe something else, maybe something else. I mean, I know breath work. So that's when I really look at the um, number of tools I have, I think I have tools for a lifetime. I
Hmm.
don't need more.
Hmm.
And did I learn tools to deploy it in coaching or therapy? No. I learned it because I needed it.
Hmm.
And I genuinely needed it, and I didn't know which one will work for me. But until I taste it,
Hmm.
test it, I don't know whether it works or not. And then I say, okay, it doesn't work or it works, then do more of this or move to something else or look for something else.
Yeah, yeah, that's the beauty of this work, that it's also more like a creative process, and you don't have to follow just one path. You have to
Yeah.
create. And I think that's how it works. You just have to listen to your intuition, and you have to go with what you feel is right for you, and rather
Correct.
than just going by some standard methods.
Correct. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. So
Yeah.
yeah, in this, yeah, yeah, again, it depends on our temperament. Some people prefer structured processes. Some people are purists. They will just stay with one, and
Hmm.
that works for them.
Hmm.
And there are some people like me. I cannot be a purist. I mean, it doesn't work for me. And I like to scout around, and
Hmm.
then I'll do it
Hmm.
until I have understood it to the extent possible at that point in time, and then I'll pick something else. So it also depends on the temperament that we have.
Hmm.
and what speaks to the method that speaks to us at that point in time. It was
Hmm.
something I left years ago. I may pick it up, and I have picked it up later, saying now I want to go back to that.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, so moving on to our last topic, which was connecting with self for leaders. And I think it's not just for leaders, it's for everyone. And during a conversation, I think that's what we have talked about,
Yes.
the the importance of inner work, and then how like having a coach or having a mentor, having someone helps you intensify that inner work and help you. Eventually, it's all about connecting with yourself when you are able to see, look at your traumas, when you're able to process your uncomfortable emotions. It's all about that's the work that helps you connect with yourself.
Absolutely right. So acknowledge one of the thing is, especially in leadership, I see that there are great workshops on emotional intelligence, etc.
Mm.
But it's a simple technique to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? It's just that much. And most of the times when I ask this question, they say, I think, I have to go somewhere or I have to do something. It's a thought.
Mm. It's not a
It's a
feeling.
thought, or I feel, I think. It's a thought. So this distinction of what's a feeling
Mm.
is very blur. People are not aware. And emotions are powerful messengers. They have the whole world of information in that. Yeah, I mean, I've seen leaders who are angry in a coaching session. They say, "I'm angry," but the underlying emotion is sadness.
Mm.
And when there's a questioning and when they are able to go there and they're able to access that, it's so uncomfortable that, oh, how can I be sad? I'm the CFO of this person company. How can I be sad? But that's who you are. You're a human being before being a CFO. So can you really see your emotion? Can you acknowledge yourself as a whole and not just the head? The head, the hands, and the heart make you the whole.
Mm.
And so really paying attention to self. And I know that in this whole race, no, it's very hard. It's great English I'm speaking, but it doesn't get them until they have a breakdown, and then life gets them to do their work. And for some, they may never have a breakdown, so they may just pass on without. That's also okay.
Yeah, 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 I know. I know. I don't think I would have realized the importance or I would have been on this journey if I did not have a breakdown. So,
Correct?
so yeah, life gives you those chances through breakdowns.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
this is your opportunity to do the work.
Beautifully, it does. And that breakdown, when it happens, and if you rise up to that call, the transformation you get, is like the image that comes to me is that high jump. The pole, on the pole you go, and then you take the support of that, and you jump, and then you land, and then you say, Eureka, I crossed that line. So it's like that. You use the stick to transcend something that seems beyond your limits. But then you do it, and that transformation is long lasting.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that way, that whole feeling of transformation, not using it as just a word, but to feel it and to actually create that for yourself is a gift you give yourself actually.
Yeah, yeah. The transformation that you experience is the greatest gift that you can give yourself. Yeah, that's a beautiful quote.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have covered all the things that we said that will and a lot more than that. I think you started with how we are like different areas, the head part, the heart, and the gut. So would you like to like end this conversation from where you started?
I think that's what I said. Like we have three parts: the head, this upper part, the middle part, and the limbs. Yeah. So and they have huge potential for us to live whole.
Hmm.
So let me go with the limbs. Our feet have the potential to ground us.
Mm.
And when I'm saying ground, if you imagine that there are roots growing from below your feet, which go down to Mother Earth, and Mother Earth holds us strong.
Mm.
So we are able to stand upright because she's holding us.
Mm.
But are we paying attention to it? Are we paying attention to when we place our feet on the floor? Are we even mindful that our feet are leading us into the world? No, at that mindfulness, that consciousness, awareness is one aspect to look at it. Yeah. The digestive system, that part is not just digesting the food and converting to energy. It is digesting all the sensory things that you take in, all the conversations that you take in. You digest it, and then you produce it as information in your next meeting or your next call or in your next client conversation. Yeah, you
Mm.
you and I are doing it right now
Mm.
as we are talking, and everybody who listens are going to do that.
Mm.
So are we really mindful of what sensations we bring in? Are we bringing in something which we don't want to, but we are forcefully engaging in? Like, I don't want to go for a movie, but my family says I have to go, so I have to go. And are we mindful of that? Or am I feeling guilty? Oh, during the 6 days of the week or 5 days of the week I'm working, I'm just there 2 days for my children and my family. My family wants me to do that. Oh, at least let me do that. It's like guilt. I'm on a guilt trip. Who are we fooling? It's
Mm.
going to affect the gut. It's going to affect the stomach.
Mm.
So that's that part. Then if you see the middle part, you have to imagine it as a lemon skate or a infinity symbol. There's a breathe
This
in.
part.
Yeah, this part. So there's a breathe in and a breathe out. Breathe in and a breathe out.
Mm.
Heart pumps in blood and moves out. In and out. So this region is about the balancing. So again, what am I breathing in? What senses am I breathing in? What conversations am I breathing in? What am I letting go? Am I breathing in too much that I'm not letting go only? A lot of us do not sleep enough and we think sleep is a waste of time.
Mm.
I was one of that. Okay, so I know it.
Mm.
So so there is, it's like standing on one feet. How long? How many years you'll do that?
Mm.
It's like skewed, living skewed, living
Mm.
one-sided. That's this part. And out here, if people are experiencing severe headaches and this place is challenged, or is overthinking.
Yeah.
And the thoughts are there for a purpose. It leads you into the world with clarity, with focus. But when it's overused, it is going to malfunction.
Mm.
So really observing these three parts, what it's supposed to do, and are we abusing it, or are we using it optimally? And that's the question that we have for humankind now. And I'm a part of that humankind. While I'm saying it right now, I'm also asking myself. And as I'm saying it, it's a reminder to me that I need to also look at it and see whether it's optimal or not.
Yeah.
And iska answer is only with the person who is asking the question.
Mm.
You cannot tell me, I cannot tell you.
Mhm.
Only I know my truth. Only you know your truth.
Yeah. I think again, it you answered it so beautifully. And I think this conversation was the most insightful conversation that I have had with all the, like, no comparison, but still, like, it was so insightful for me. And I was more inclined, like, I was less inclined to what people people are going to listen. I was more inclined to what I can learn from this conversation, and I have learned so much.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing. I was in the, like, whenever you were speaking, I was just completely in awe of all the things that you were sharing. I don't think I had have enough words, to explain that, how I have felt during this conversation and how beautiful it was, how beautifully you expressed yourself and brought out, that immense experience and that years of decades of inner work. But yeah,
Thank you.
that was that the your years. I think it was a perfect amalgamation of all the work that you've done in just, I know there is this 45 minute of conversation cannot do justice to it, but it's
Yeah.
like, I don't what how they say it, कि वो taste, मतलब people can taste
Yeah, that's true.
from this
Taste it.
conversation.
That's true. That's true.
So thank you so much, and thank
Thank
you
you.
everyone who was watching and who is going to watch this conversation in the future. I am 100% sure that no matter who watch this conversation, it is going to be immensely valuable for you. So that's it for this week's LinkedIn Live, and thank you so much, Deepa, again for sharing all the nuggets of wisdom.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, bye, bye everyone.